Hey all, we're back with another edition of Printing's Alive, where we talk everything print. So today we have a special guest, always a special guest. Anyone who comes on my podcast is special. We have Jennifer McConnell from Royal out west. How are you, Jennifer?
I'm good, Warren. How are you?
Great, thanks. So Royal is the new name, but they were known since 1932 as Royal Printers. Nothing to do with the Queen or the UK. They just like the name Royal. I will tell you that from what I know, Royal is a fourth generation printing company, which I think is pretty awesome today because I don't know that they run that far and deep. And we have two of the siblings running it, brother and sister. So I'm just going to turn to you, Jennifer. And what do you want to tell me about Royal?
Um, I've been in the industry, just hit my 20-year anniversary, and I've been with Royal now for a little bit over a year. And I haven't worked at a ton of companies in the industry. I'd say 4 or 5 really good ones if I had to give my opinion on that. But Royal has definitely been something else. It's the first place that I've been able to work at and feel like I'm really in my element and doing the things that I'm meant to do. And so I feel very seen by our president and vice president, Bryce and Chelsea Gation. They seem to see something in me that maybe others couldn't. And so I just feel like coming in here every day isn't like coming to work. It's just, coming to my other family, as cheesy as that sounds. But yeah, I love working here. They're a great family. They're very, very supportive and very decent, humble human beings.
So, oh my God, I almost want to cry. No, in a nice way.
Yeah.
Number one, just to hear everything you said about you and being seen and feeling good about that, because everyone should be seen, everyone should feel good everywhere they work. And it's not so cheesy when you say the family thing, because the reality is we all spend more time. It doesn't matter what industry, business you're in, but you always end up spending, unless you're working from home, but you end up spending more time working with the people at work. So to feel like they're a family is amazing. When I had my company and we were, a lot of people strong, nothing made me happier than just seeing everybody and working together and everyone getting along and feeling family, and
Yeah.
even, the parting afterwards, because it just can't all be work and no play. But that's really what makes it great when people want to go to work, because people that go to work are looking out for the people at work and what's
Yeah.
going on, right? So where do
Yeah.
your best ideas come from? The
Yeah.
people at work,
Exactly. Yeah.
when
Collaboration.
they feel part of the team. So that's really good. What does Royal specialize in, or what stands out at Royal? Or
Yeah.
why should anyone want to look at Royal aside from the color purple on the website, which is awesome?
Because I'm here. We are
End of podcast. End of podcast. We've done it
Hello,
all.
guys.
That's great.
We're a commodity printer, so we do a lot of your really.
Don't say. I hate the word
I know, but
commodity.
it is what we are, and so we're the necessity, right? I've worked at companies where they're doing a lot of really high end, fancy boutique work and stuff like that, and you know that was really exciting and really challenging, but it's hard to get a lot of those projects, and so sometimes you'd be working on one project for 6 months, and I'm the type of person that likes to complete things. And so when something takes 6 months to complete, it can get a little stressful for me. So we do a lot of your stationary laser checks, business forms, that sort of thing, but we do a lot of book printing here as well. Um, I think what makes us stand out more than anyone else in the industry, especially in Canada, is that we're the only Canadian printer using the commercial grade of our sugar sheet. So it's completely tree free. It's made from bagasse, which is a byproduct of the sugar refinement process from sugarcane. And so we focus a lot of our sustainability around how many trees are saved, CO2 not emitted from, processing trees, bringing trees hauling them around the country on trucks. We bring our paper up by ship, so it's pretty interesting to see, and we provide our customers data on all that if they want to have that as a part of their sustainability plan as well.
Is the sheet edible? Like, can you put it in your
Sometimes.
cereal?
I mean, I think all paper is edible. I've definitely eaten my fair share of paper. Sometimes it's the only way to shut up, just put some paper in your mouth and stop the conversation.
Absolutely, with environmentally good ink.
Yeah.
I personally don't know from sugar grade paper.
Hmm.
I've known from stone paper, elephant shit paper,
I haven't
regular
heard of that one.
paper. Oh, elephant dung.
Yeah.
It's out of Thailand. Actually, I had
Okay.
a couple friends a bunch of years ago had invested in some elephant dung, and they were making paper with it. So
Okay.
that and huts. You can make a hut with the dung as well if you're in
Yeah.
Africa.
Yeah.
But so with the paper, so always like new things. So where does it? Well, I'll come and ask you a couple questions, and then I'll just stop and you can
Sure.
answer them all.
Sure.
But like, when did you get into it, and where did you find it? Where does it come from, and what do you use it for?
Yeah. So Royal actually invested in a wheat sheet years ago, and they just found that it wasn't actually enough for them on the sustainability considerations. There's a lot more details around that I'm not really familiar with, but when they did start getting into the sugar sheet, they found that it was just a truer representation of what sustainability really means. You're using something that's already being created anyways. Sugarcane is it's quick to grow, so you're not having to wait decades for something to become viable to use, which was great. And the stocks that we purchase are all your typical print stocks. So you have your coated, uncoated, text and cover weights. We have a natural as well, and we use it for the majority of the printing that we do. It's
And
our
all that,
staple.
that's all sugar grade for coated, uncoated, for
Yeah.
everything.
Yep. No
Wow.
trees.
I guess you're not going to tell us where you get it, because then everyone can. Let me ask you a question. Just do you have a deal with whoever, that if other printers that weren't competing with you in the same market wanted it, can come to you to get it?
I believe we are exclusive in Canada. We don't offer it for sale to other printers currently. But if any other printer wanted to buy out some work here, I don't think we'd be opposed to that.
Cool. Would you sell the raw material to a printer on the East Coast, maybe?
That's not a me question.
Okay, okay,
That's
okay.
for
Just
that's for
putting
the owners to answer.
right. Okay. Well, I just figured if you were helped to sell the paper, you made more paper, you get a better price, you'd make some money off the other person. Why not? Right.
Hmm.
And how do you market that, or do you?
So, one thing that Royal is working on right now is building a more structured marketing campaign. We haven't done a ton of overt sales and marketing. We've just been a company that is here, reliable to its customers, contract work, repeat work, that sort of thing. And so, some of the conversations we've been having lately are they've just been around how much we could actually grow our business by actively selling and marketing what we have. So I'd say those are in very early stages, but we just did our rebrand in November, and we did a really awesome like marketing video to go with that, which is on our website. I think it's pretty cool. We're all very proud of it, and so hopefully more to come like that.
I'm cheating. I'm watching the video.
Are you?
No, I just put it on. There's no sound. There's no sound.
Well, you
Oh,
gotta have the
you're
sound.
no. Well, I know, but I'm talking to you in the headphones. But I'm actually. I'll just compliment you. The place looks rather nice and clean.
It
Is it
is
like
very.
that all the time, or is it like that because of the video?
I try. I think most of my staff know that I'm not a fan of unnecessary mess or clutter. So we've got a pretty lean crew right now, and they do a pretty good job of doing maintenance and cleanup and stuff like that. So they keep their areas pretty clean.
No, it's good. I used to have it that like every Monday morning was maintenance day. All the presses went down, everything to be clean. I even wanted it at one point to have everybody working in the plant to wear white,
Mm,
so that when people would come in, it would look almost pharma-like,
yeah.
right? And then it would hopefully give everyone the impression that we were really good and conscientious of everything. And they have a lot of companies in Europe or Germany where they're kind of dressed in white, but I don't think white goes well in North America in the printing industry, or the people that work in it. They're like, no, not
Uh,
happening.
it lasts for
But
about 5 seconds.
yeah, but for a short period, I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, I loved having people come into the plant and giving plant tours, and I couldn't show or talk enough about print and the process to people who have no idea,
Yeah.
because I always felt when well, I think about it like this. Someone mentions a car to you that you've never seen, a Volkswagen, a new Volkswagen, whatever, Jetta, and then all of a sudden you see it on the road, and then every day after that you
You
see it,
see it everywhere. Yeah.
right? Like it's like, how many cars did they sell? So I kind of think the same way with print. If I
Yep.
talk enough to people who don't know enough about print or don't think about print because it's not their priority, if I
Yeah.
talk enough about it, if I point stuff out to them, then I'm hoping every day they're going to think something print,
Yeah. That's awesome. I think we
right?
need more of that. We
Well,
have a we have a program. Print Forward has a program called PELT. It's a print entry level training, and we're just about to go into our fifth cohort. It's fully government funded, and one of the I guess last year our reps with the government, the gentleman that manages the program, and also our rep, so the one that deals with me on the day to day, they wanted to come to Royal and sit down with some of our key stakeholders and previous students of the program. And they came in and they were so excited after this meeting. They're like, we had no idea. We didn't know print was an essential service. We didn't know print was so big. And it's like, yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. So with the program, we're trying to utilize that to get people more excited and interested in print as a career, even if they didn't necessarily feel like they have the skills for it. Or rather than everybody filtering through the graphic design field, we wanted to open up something that would introduce them to every single area of print and just give them a little bit of a taste of each thing. And in Ontario, they are actually wanting to adopt the program there as well. So OPIA has decided that they want to pick it up and start doing it in Ontario, and we hope that it spreads across the provinces until we can manage to do something bigger, which is definitely on my radar. And if I keep going over the next 20 years the way I have the last 5 years, I think we'll be able to achieve something pretty good.
so I don't have 20 years left just because I want to go fishing, but I would offer up my time and to help in anything that you guys do or create to promote print.
Awesome.
Um, Part of my reason for doing the podcast Printing's Alive, and why I changed the name of it to be like the book and the original movie. Maybe a sequel is going to come, maybe not, but uh, for branding purposes, because everyone knows Printing's Alive. But I kind of feel like a lot of people don't. Everyone says print's dead. When they say print's dead, they're thinking of this. They're thinking of stationery. They're thinking of business cards, even though there's plenty of business cards being printed. If you speak to Vistaprint, that's one of their main specialties. Newspapers, like, so when they say print's dead, those are the things that have kind of went away: stationery,
Which is
newspapers,
insane because
and some magazines.
we print so much of that here, and yet we've got newspapers showing up on our doorstep every single day. And I think people can say whatever they want, but if you ask Kelly Malazzi, we need to stop saying that, and we need to stop giving those people any kind of credit because they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, that's why Printing's Alive, right? It's my quest to go out there and to push people and to remind people about print, and that when I think print, I say it all the time. Number one, the world cannot function without print. Anyone could
Correct.
say what they want, but the world goes nowhere. Trump will not be able to adjust his tariffs because you got to send out a notice. If you're not printing, you can't send out the notice, right? And then if there was no print, how would he do all of his executive orders? But all kidding aside from that, print is one of the largest industries out there. If
Yep.
everybody wakes up, or I would like everyone to wake up. The minute you wake up, I'd like you to think print. Okay, you wake up, first thing you do is you look over on your night table and you probably have books stacked. Books you haven't read even, so it's things to do. You go into the bathroom and all your products are in packaging and papers. If you're taking medication, the instruction sheets are on the instruction sheets. I just made a double whatever error there, but your printed instruction sheets. You go in the kitchen, your food and everything, there's packages, instructions. Leave
Yeah.
your house, your car, there's this. On the way to the hospital, street signage, this signage, that sign, everything everywhere. So it's not possible to say print's dead. And people who say print's dead, you're morons. And I don't want to insult you, but if I am, too bad, right?
Yeah.
We have more trees growing now than we ever had in areas, right? So no, print is not dead. And actually, I think if I'm correct, and people can correct me if I'm not, because they always do, but I think it was like the tech companies that started print is dead way back when the whole online thing was starting,
Yeah.
right? Like an Apple and a Microsoft.
Yeah.
In the meantime, for all those guys saying print is dead, I remember AOL sent out more disc cassettes to get you to join than I've ever seen, even at a music store.
What are those, Warren?
Oh, those are going back in the old days. And hang on, I have a desk in the other room where the drawer where I keep, relics.
Like a floppy disk?
Floppy disks and side quests and all those other things.
Yeah.
So no, print is not dead. As a matter of fact, signage is huge. Labels is huge. Big market now, direct to fabric, printed apparel.
Yeah.
Right. Direct to the garment, the fabric, promotional items. It's all printed.
Yeah.
Everything's printed. It's
we're
so
very
important.
proud of our label division here, and we're excited, to see how Royal is going to continue to evolve over the next few years as we get new equipment and start to maximize the space we have. We've got a couple of buildings kind of sandwiched together in this nice little property. It looks tiny from the outside, but then you come in and it's this labyrinth of, space where we can do print manufacturing. So it's pretty exciting. I joined the team at a really cool time and just really curious and anxious, and also not wanting to hurry the process, just want to enjoy the process, but we got a lot to do.
No, it's listen, I love print. I think it's great, and if the companies are in good positions, I'll say financially and human resource wise, there's nothing better than investigating a new project or buying some new equipment.
Yeah.
And putting it out there. I always want to stress though, to every print owner, to everyone in a company, if you're looking at new equipment, if you're buying new equipment, it is so exciting. It is so much fun. I used to love it. Couple of mistakes that I made back then, learned the hard way. You really need to evaluate what you're doing. You really need to make sure that you understand what you're doing, that you understand what the machine costs. No, I mean what it really costs after it's in your door, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a huge mistake that people make, making sure that you have the right people to manage it and run it. Do you have the customers that are going to use it? You cannot build it and they will come anymore.
Yeah. Times have really changed from that, for sure.
Right. But how exciting how excited are the people when you tell them that you're doing something new or you're bringing in new equipment?
Yeah, we've got some stuff on the horizon here, and we're just waiting for some things to finalize, and then we can properly share with our team and with the world what's going on. But there's a lot of work to be done in the meantime, and a big part of that, especially with this being my first couple of years here, is just focusing on getting things to where they're at my baseline, right? So however things were done before, okay, great, but this is how I like things. And we have staff here that are very good at what they do and have a lot of pride in what they do. So when someone like me comes along who's really supportive in them, like, oh, you need this? Okay, sure. Oh, you need that? Okay, great. Oh, you need an hour to do maintenance? Yes, please take it. Because I've been in those environments where you just push, 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 and everything kind of falls apart, and then you're down for 3 days because you didn't, take the time ahead of time, so to speak. So we've got a really good environment here. We've got a good culture. We've got people who and this is one thing about the industry that I love more than anything is we have a lot of people here who are willing to teach. And
Oh my God.
one of the biggest, like when I started in the industry back in 2005, um, I was working for my dad at a print shop in White Rock, and I didn't know anything, like nothing. And even though I grew up in it, so to speak, I had seen the big web presses at Quebec or McLean Hunter when I was little. And my dad had shown me some little, registration marks on a newspaper and explained that to me, but that was it. So when I came in, I had no knowledge on substrates. I had no knowledge on the different styles of printing, offset, digital, that kind of stuff. I had no knowledge of anything. And all of a sudden I started meeting people in the industry that, have been around for a long time, are still around, a couple have retired, but they would just come in and, oh, you're new. And it was like, And, I could ask any question that I wanted, and they would just talk to me as long as I needed and tell me everything that I needed. And I learned so much in the first, I'll say 10 years, because there's a lot to learn. And, in this industry, you don't learn anything overnight.
And not unless you made a mistake.
Yeah, yeah. I remember one company I made it was about a $10,000 mistake, and the owner said, "Wow, that sucks. What did you learn from it?" And I was like, "You're not going to make me pay that, are you?" He said, "This is the cost of doing business, and it is what it is." And
They're
I
not
just
allowed to make you pay.
yeah, like I remember just feeling so terrified. And he said, "I bet you'll never make that mistake again." I couldn't even tell you what
And
it is now, but
no, it doesn't
I'm
matter.
sure I do.
But I love that about the guy, and I don't even know him
Mhm.
because us too had big mistakes, 10, 20, $40,000 mistakes. I don't want to think about too many of them,
Yeah,
but really, what do you say to anybody other than like, what did you learn? I hope
yeah,
you learned and you're looking out. And that's the cost of learning, unfortunately.
yeah, yeah, it
Owners who
is.
flip out on people probably don't keep the people that long.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, built lots of relationships that I still work with sometimes daily, in the industry today. And being a part of Print Forward has been probably one of the most fulfilling parts of my career, and getting to build relationships with with people at other companies. Because if you're not a part of the association, what happens is you tend to be in your organization and that's it. You're sheltered, right? You don't get to experience a lot. You don't get to learn a lot. You just learn whatever's right in front of you.
So I'm biting my tongue
I know.
because you're no 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 no, you're killing me because you're saying all the good stuff,
Yeah.
right? All the good stuff, the associations. I speak with so many of them, and so many of them have some good members, and so many of them could use more members,
Hmm.
good members,
Yeah.
all members. I was always a member of every association, right? Only because I was looking for travel and to go to as many meetings as possible. But I was a member of every association. I was a member of peer groups. I made sure to surround myself wherever there was people smarter than me, better than me, even older than me,
Yeah.
because I wanted to learn from them now,
Yeah.
right? And I think there's a lot of companies with a lot of older owners, older than me.
Yeah.
Um, I say that with a smile. But for all those old owners, old companies that aren't members of associations because you think you know better, why don't you join? but not for you. Join for your employees.
Yeah.
Join so that you could introduce them to the associations, give them the websites, give them the passwords, let them sign up for the newsletters, get them in the juice of what's happening in the industry. I always wanted to give out subscriptions to magazines and leave them in the lobby and let people see things.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get stuck into your day to day and the blinders are on, you don't know. When you know what's going on in the industry, when you see things, or if you're an owner listening, send a couple people to a local show if you have to. Encourage them to go. I don't think, you got me on this tyrant rant now. Like, I don't think we do enough to promote print. I don't
Yeah.
think we promote enough print within our organizations. I don't think we promote the importance of print, right? A lot of old owners on their company websites have printing presses and old equipment. Get rid of it. Okay, the young people are looking. That's not what they want to see. They want to see the faces in your company. They want to read about the solutions. They want to know how you're going to help them. It's like
Yeah.
we really have to change up the messaging as a whole, for the most part. If you're in a
Yeah.
niche and you're doing something, good luck, keep it going. Most niches don't last forever anyways. But the associations, great. The people in the company, what's the age group?
It varies. We have some people, maybe like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, maybe about a quarter of our staff are over 50. And then everyone else is under 50. We might have a few in the mid to late 20s.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
but it ranges for sure, and we all have various levels. I'm looking away because I'm literally looking at our office staff right now. But we have different levels of experience. We all come from different places within the industry, outside of the industry. And I think what we tend to focus on more here is not so much what the person brings experience wise, but what they bring in personality and drive, willingness to learn, personality. Do they fit the culture that we really want to have here, which is very much a supportive team player, solution focused culture.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Very cool. Sounds like I want to come work for your company.
I
Um, so you
don't
say
know
you've
if I
been in
can
it.
handle that kind of energy every day, Warren.
You know what? I don't know if I can't handle my energy every day, if you want to be honest. Um, so you've been in the industry for many years, as you
Hmm.
said. I don't have to go back on the numbers. You're in a pretty serious position now, kind of running the company and operations.
Yeah.
Um, as a woman in what was an old male dominated industry and
Hmm.
boys club, um, how is it for you? How was it? And how did it start? Maybe I should answer that in different order. How did it start? How was it? And how is it today? If you could look back and, compare a little bit.
Uh, I don't know if there were probably some like multiple contributing factors that maybe made things a little bit easier for me than I think it has been for some women. Number one, when I started working for my dad, who is very protective, but he was also very good at just coaching me and telling me what to look out for. And, from day one, told me, don't take any shit from these guys. Just don't. And so I've had yeah, that was probably the best advice he ever gave me. Um, and I struggled for a period of time where and this probably goes back to, childhood stuff, but I struggled for a period of time where I wasn't feeling heard. And so I was pushing extra hard. I was one of those, I hate to say it, but I was one of those women that was like extra just to compensate. And I'm very grateful for the work that I did to get beyond that so that I could learn when to just shut up, when to ask questions, and when is a good time to put my opinion into the conversation. And I think there's so much more strength in that. And I feel a lot more respect from, my peers and colleagues and suppliers and customers, because I'm not arguing just for the sake of arguing. I really want the person on the other end of the conversation to feel heard and supported. And if I have a point that needs to be made, I'll make the point and do everything that I can to kind of guide that person to getting there with me. It's not about ramming my point down anybody's throat. But I think with the relationships that I had built early on with some of the more veteran people in the industry, I'll say veteran, not old.
Ancient elders.
Yeah, they didn't shelter me. They protected me. They looked out for me. They stood up for me, and I was really truly grateful for that. But if you were to ask them, they would tell you that I earned it 100%. And just being kind and being respectful to everybody and treating everyone like a human being goes a long way. And I've had my fair share of fights with customers, and it happens. We learn from it, and sometimes you just get somebody who's an asshole and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hopefully the customers learn from the fight sometimes, right?
I would hope so. But I think a big part of it is there were companies that I worked at where basically every company that I worked at, aside from my dad, and I say this with love, I think it was hard for my parents to see my potential because they were my parents, right? And so they were putting a lot of like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, and they weren't really paying attention to who I was as a person. And it's not their fault. I think it literally is just because they're my parents and they see me as their little baby who, just doesn't know anything in the world, right?
You're
And
way too nice.
I love my parents. Okay.
Either like you had a good life or you had a really good therapist, because you're saying all the good stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
By the way, we all have good therapists.
Lauren, I became a therapist, and I'm not even lying. That's how much therapy I've had. But essentially, every employer that I was with after that, I was the type of person, I'd go in at the bottom just answering the phones, and then very quickly I would get as far up in the company as I could, because I'd like to take on responsibility. I wasn't afraid to ask questions or make decisions and make mistakes. And I'm very much a person who wants everything to be done right, and, not make mistakes over and over and over again. We make a mistake once, okay, I'm going to ask everybody questions to figure out why the hell this happened, and then it's not going to happen again. And so I've had a very natural progression in my career as far as the types of jobs that I was doing. And so coming here just seemed like a really good fit, and it was borderline, I was prepared, I wasn't prepared. I'm just like, you know what, I just got to trust in myself and trust that I'll have good support. And I did. And I can't really say, other than the odd person here or there that might mansplain something to me, or over explain something, that it's like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to listen, because clearly you need to hear your own voice right now, and we'll be done with this conversation soon. So having patience has gotten me through a lot of it.
Oh, for sure. I remember going to someone's office and they had a no mansplaining plaque on the wall when you walked in. It was an office filled with just women.
Yeah.
It was probably the only office I ever went into, and I was like,
I don't know how
sign language. It was sign language. It was like, I can't wait to get out of here.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
But it's good. But you know what? Honestly, you're like a breath of fresh air.
Thank you.
Because you've even with the therapy stuff, we all have therapists. No, but you seem to have, like, whatever you've been through and you've seen and you learned, you've done. Just the way you're talking about it is just so au natural, and it's just flowing, and you're not even thinking twice. And I just know from when people have normal conversations, it's really what they believe. There's no right. It's not pre thought out in advance, and it almost, I'm not going to say perfect. Nothing's imperfect, but it sounds pretty damn good. The course, and I'm sure in the line there's been a lot of bleeps up and down.
Yeah.
But I think for people listening, it's almost I'll just say it's encouraging to know that as you go through life and there's so much shit going on in life and stress and whatever, that you can come out when you prioritize your things, in the order you want to live, um, that we sound like you.
I honestly think that it's important for the younger generation to know that, take care of yourself. That there's nobody likes a martyr. And as much as I might put myself last at times, I'm definitely going to make up for it the next day. If I'm putting in a lot of long hours or something, I'm going to take a couple afternoons and go home early. The most important thing is that people recognize we all have opportunities to make something really special out of our career. You have to make sure you're in the right place. If you're not in a place where you feel supported and seen by your leadership, get out. Just go find something else.
Yeah, so I'm gonna touch on something. I forget I'm trying to remember the person's name. It's a Vancouver fella. Uh, I don't even want to look it up, but I think it's David Scudmore. He started 1-800 I Got Junk.
Okay.
I don't remember his name, and now that I'm doing this, it's awful. But I'm typing in here on the computer, founder 1-800 Got Junk, only because I really don't want to. I don't want to. Brian Scudamore. I knew it. I didn't want to.
Have the wrong name.
Yeah, I just want to give him the credit that I want to give him. So I remember when you talk about people, I remember seeing him at I believe it was an entrepreneur organization event, because I also used to belong to different organizations with business people to learn. And he was in there and he was talking about, I found it really interesting. He was talking about the employees you have, and he was talking about knowing who doesn't belong in your company.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, if you know that and you don't do anything and you leave them there, you're doing like a double injustice.
Yeah.
First, you are doing an injustice for that person.
Yeah.
Because if you keep someone there who's not in that good for that position, you're holding them back for expanding their life and growing, right? And then at the
Totally.
same time, if you keep them, you're hurting company life because it's not the right person. And when he was talking about that, I was kind of like, oh my God, you start putting yourself in those thoughts and you start remembering. And then he told a story, which actually was a pretty amazing story. And I'll repeat it for what I can remember, maybe leave out some of the little details. But this was another topic I could talk with people. He had a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And one day he's talking to his mentor, he's talking about some people, and the mentor asked him a question about some people and people that belong or don't belong, and he brought up this person's name. And they had the conversation, and he said to Brian, okay, now that we're talking about it, when are you going to let him go?
Mm-hmm.
And Brian, was, if I remember correctly, again, was like, well, maybe on this is Monday now, right? Thursday, Friday, Fridays aren't good to let people go. Mondays aren't good to let people go. And his mentor was like, well, what about tomorrow?
Yeah.
And Brian was like, well, tomorrow, right? Because we all do that, right?
Yeah.
And he had to commit to his mentor to do it. And when the next day came about and he called the fella into the office, and they sat down and they were having a conversation, and I don't remember the whole conversation, but the long and short of the conversation was Brian was telling him that he had to let him go, that he wasn't the right person for the company.
Mm-hmm.
And by keeping him, that it wasn't the right thing for him. And the fella said to him, I've been stressing for a long time because I know I wasn't the right person. And I was waiting for the foot to come down and knock me out.
Yeah.
And Brian was taken aback because he never thought about it that way. The employee was taken aback from the conversation with Brian. He mentioned that they had a cry fest together because it was an emotional moment. And then Brian actually went on to being a mentor of his, and that guy went on to build a really cool business.
Yeah.
Right. And I just remember the fact that this could have been 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I don't even give or take, that it stuck out in my head like that, about how we are responsible for people that work for us in more ways than we could imagine.
Yeah.
And that how we should be thinking about them in their growth in where they go and what they do. I had someone working for me for 5, 6 years, 7 years, and 3 or 4 times he came to me to go somewhere else, and I talked him out of it. But I actually talked him out of it not because I needed him. I did, but I talked him out of it because I really didn't believe that it was the right job for him,
Yeah.
knowing him. And then the sixth time he came to me over whatever, I'm like, dude, you got to take that job. I will never, ever, ever get you there. I
Yeah.
can't. I'm actually jealous that you're going. I said, because I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
Being an owner really makes you a prisoner too at the same time. I mean, there's a lot of perks, but the prison side of things is a little tougher. And he went off to do what he's doing. And I'm watching him as he's, went from what he was doing to what he's doing. And I can't smile. I almost feel like I have a kid out there who's grown up.
Yeah.
And I feel really good about the holdback. Again, not for the company, but more for him. And then the let go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
And
and I,
and then
I
when
think
you
a lot of people don't necessarily see themselves in accurate lights, right? We have our insecurities, we have our limiting beliefs and all that stuff. And that's where some of my mentors have done the most impact for me is they've told me how they see me. And eventually I started to believe them. And that's when my confidence really started to build. And like what you just said, the only reason I didn't stay on and take over the family business, so to speak, I didn't feel that I was growing in the way that I felt I should be growing. It didn't feel in alignment. I felt very stuck. I felt very boxed in. And even though I left to go work at something outside of print, I came back to it when my dad sold the company because the people that had bought it had left another company and created an opening there. And I've had other companies reach out and ask if I was interested in buying. And I'm just like, no, no, not in your life. Because as much as I love this industry and I love my career path and everything else, it's always a choice and I want it to remain a choice. I don't ever want to feel like I am stuck again because
like
it's
a
a terrible
prisoner.
feeling. Yeah, terrible feeling. I listen, I
Well,
have ownership mentality. I will run this company as if it's my own. But at the end of the day, when I walk out that door, I can let it all go and leave it behind because it's not mine.
yeah, no, listen, ownership is not for everyone. If it was for everyone, there'd be no employees at companies, right?
Totally.
You have to have a thick-lined stomach
Hmm.
to be an owner, and
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter what level, what size you're at, because it's all relative to the you and the size you're at and what you're doing. And when your line of credit is maxed out at 300 or 3 million, it's the
Yeah.
same sick feeling in your stomach,
Yeah.
right? And there's a lot to take, and hats off to all the entrepreneurs and owners who do it out there, and hats off to everyone else who does it. And
Yeah.
really, what I think is great, and I think people could actually learn from you and everything that you've kind of been saying. I had people working for me too, like owners, right? Happy not to sign a check, happy not to deal with HR, happy
Hmm.
not to worry about it in future investment,
Yeah.
but happy to be in charge and happy to tell everyone where they work and proud of it.
Yeah. I think it honestly makes me a better leader because I know what my threshold is. I know what my limitations are, what, you know, level of comfort I can operate within without having to go and, get permission or things like that. And so that level of autonomy allows me to just really focus on the support of the staff and not worry so much about the big picture things. Everything that I'm doing contributes to big picture, but when you can really just focus on what is right in front of you and just get it done, I feel like there's a lot more freedom in that.
Well, it's kind of like think big, act small,
Hmm.
right? So you take care of all the different areas, the people and the
Yeah.
company, and do it the right way. And on the outside, everyone's impression is that you're doing it the right way, and they don't have to know what's going on the inside.
Yeah.
But that's the best way. And so, what would you say, like the culture in the company? Most people like it's a loaded question, but most people like each other. They don't. They're happy to hang together.
Um,
I've seen so many, and I'm asking because I've seen so many different companies where they are together, or people come in and
yeah,
do their thing and then they can't wait to get out and don't talk.
I'd say we very much are like church and state. So I think outside of work, we don't really get involved with each other too much. And I've seen it happen the other way as well. And I think it just depends on the people, right? And I think because we have such a variance in ages and lifestyles, we have people who are parents, not parents, different stages of parenting. It makes it hard for us to be able to socialize outside of work, but within the company, I think we all get along really well. We all know some aspects of our personal life. I'm definitely an oversharer, so I'm sure people know lots of things about me.
That's from the therapy sessions.
Yeah, it's a good way to connect with your staff. But yeah, I think overall we're very supportive, right? And we all just want the company to do well. We're all similar mindsets of like, this needs to be done right. And communication, I think, could be better in certain areas, but it's way better here than what I've seen in other places in the industry. So it's pretty cool.
And so let me ask you, the two owners, the brother and the sister and the brother. I don't want anyone to be offended. I don't know who's older, who's younger. I know me and my brother, well, it's always the older one first, me, right? How are they? Like, let me do. I'm asking like families, but as two people, as they running the business, they get along. They're good. The people below them are good, because I've seen a lot of family business where it's not so enjoyable to work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Um, I'm laughing because they are siblings, and sometimes that comes out. Um, but they grew up in this company, and so they have the awareness. It's not like nepotism where they just come in and daddy's like, here you go. They've earned their place in ownership here, and they are very hyper focused on all of the details. Like I can go to them about absolutely anything and have a really great conversation. We can figure out a plan on how to move forward. Um, they are just genuinely really good human beings, and I don't know what else to say. Like it is the first time I've had bosses that are younger than me, but it doesn't feel like that a lot of the time. They're very mature and
How
um
much younger? So what are they, 17? I mean, you don't
yeah,
look that
yeah.
old.
No, they're in their mid 30s, so I'm in my early 40s, and
Mm-hmm.
it's it's very, they almost feel like my siblings sometimes, but it's just like it's a give and take, right? Like they support me, and I try to support them just as much, because I have to remember that they brought me in for a specific reason, right? And a big part of that is my experience. And so I'm not afraid to say things that sometimes need to be said. And there's just a lot of trust and a really good rapport between the three of us, and our, I'll say four, because our IT director, who is considered upper management as well, we meet every week Tuesday afternoons, and it just blows my mind how much shit we get done every week. It's I think we're a pretty cool dream team.
I was just sitting here and I'm just thinking, like, oh my God, I think I want to work in that company, because you make everything sound so, I'm not saying not perfect. It
Yeah,
makes
it's
you, it
definitely
sound,
not perfect.
no, my God, nothing's perfect. No, but you make it sound from a, that it would make it sound like it's like the right cultural environment because everybody's doing the right thing,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Be
healthy.
family, not family, caring, concerned, helping,
Yeah,
teaching, sharing.
yeah.
Um, Really, that's like what life's about. I mean, I started a bunch of years ago. Okay, maybe not that many years ago. Just how could I make life simpler? How could I argue with less people? Doesn't mean
Mhm.
I'm starting the argument. I'm just saying either other people. How do we just dial everything down a little? Because really, we're all on this planet for the same reason, right? Like one is to be born and the other is to die. But in between, right? It's how long are we going to live? We want to live a good life. We want to live a comfortable life. Comfortable life meaning not money, but not being sick, being healthy, doing things, getting some experiences, and then making some money. And I'm kind of saying like, oh my God, I want to do everything as best I can. I want to minimize my misery and aggravation.
Yeah.
And it
I
doesn't
think
matter where it is, right?
I think
Work,
what
home, friends.
I think what a lot of people don't get is life's purpose is the human experience. And if we
Oh
start
my God.
doing things in isolation and pushing humans away and creating conflict, like, there's no right way or wrong way to live. Yeah, there's a wrong way to live. Don't be a
Well,
dick and don't push the people away that are trying to create this human experience, because when you actually care about the people that you're engaging with, and if they care about you, life is 10 times easier, 100 times more enjoyable, and everybody's just in a better place.
there's all, whenever shit goes down, there's all these cliches that come out and no one wants to hear them, but they're all pretty true. But the simple one that I really like to live by and preach all the time, even I say it to myself, even when I rage a little because somebody sets me off, is really you treat people the way you want to be treated,
Yeah.
right? And if you believe in karma and things go around, come around, it will. Now, for me, it never comes around as fast as I want it to. But I still feel better knowing I'm treating okay most people with kindness in the way that I want to be treated. And I just
Mm-hmm.
find I go through life. When I figured that out a while ago, I just go through life just a little easier, with less complexity,
Yeah,
because you're not
definitely.
always stepping to get out of your way. Now, the other thing in life that I learned, which was a pretty big experience, is to wear smaller shoes because they're easier to take out of your mouth when they get stuck. Right? It's I wear lady shoes now, but
Oh my God.
sometimes my brain keeps moving and my mouth isn't fast enough to close the lips to stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the fast action thing is just the shoe in the mouth, and then people get the picture.
Yeah.
But it's great. Wow. All I could say is what an enlightening conversation, and thank you. No, because usually I don't have these conversations with a lot of people, and I'm gonna look for more people like you because the other conversations are not so fun,
Oh,
right?
thank you.
Well, there's no negativity here. There's no talking. It was pretty much all upbeat,
Yeah.
and that is, and we're gonna talk again on this, but that is exactly the way everyone should be to some degree, I think, to help move our industry forward in the right direction with, young people, with
Yeah.
women. I won't go into any other diversities because there's big issues out there in the world, so I don't want to piss anybody
There's a
off.
lot of them.
Yeah, especially with diversity. But I want to piss anybody off, and
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if we all cut ourselves, I don't even need to use pronouns or genders or any of that. I do it this way: when we cut ourselves, we all bleed red. We're humans,
Yeah.
and I think we need to go back to being human first, and then go in whatever direction you want to go on. But
Yeah.
you got to be nice to everybody else,
That's right.
right?
I agree.
That's the end of it. So I'm going to call this a wrap, but we can go on, and we will go on because there's so
Yeah.
many notes that I made, and I don't usually make notes, but I won't show you in case you could read them. My writing is kind of like Mother said, should have been a doctor because I scribble, and I probably won't be able to read them after. But before we go, and I cut you,
Mhm.
anything you want anybody listening to know that you didn't already tell them?
That I haven't already said. No,
You could say it
just,
again if you want. It was all good.
yeah, honestly, just like that cliche, live your best life. Honestly, just pay attention. Pay attention to what makes you feel good, what doesn't make you feel good, and do something about it. We tend to stick in certain situations that create fear and anxiety and all these other things. Think about why. Why are you doing that? I actually just, quick story. I was not happy doing a certain role at a company that I was in. And I thought, you know what? Screw it. I will live off my credit card for a month if I have to. I have enough faith in myself that I will find something. I cannot do this role another moment. It makes me literally just want to die. And I took that courage and I went to my boss and I told him that. And he was like, whoa, 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 wait. we could,
I'll
we
give you
could,
my credit card.
no,
Stay.
we could give you something else. But if I hadn't just had that faith in myself and faith in the universe, as they say. I don't know how long I might have been doing that, and then struggling with anxiety and depression and going on antidepressants and doing all these unnecessary things
Hmm.
because I was afraid to believe in myself. So I'd say if anyone is struggling and like feels stuck and doesn't know what to do, call me, call Warren. We'll help you figure it out.
If you
Don't
call
be
me, you're
scared.
paying. If you
Yeah.
call me, you're paying, because
I'll do
I've
it for free,
invested
but
with
you
my
got
therapist.
5 minutes.
Yeah, it's not the 50-minute session, right?
No.
But yeah, but no, it's so true. You know what I mean. I'm going on, but I find myself even talking with people I know don't. It's always, if I could share a life experience where I hurt at one point, because everything's hurt, pain, and then
Yeah.
working out of it. Oh my God, it's always so good. I mean, listen, I'll
Yeah.
just touch base. And I've said in the past, but I lost my business in 2019 after 27 years of building it and
Yeah.
losing it. And even it was a shit story how it happened, and a president and a partner and a whatever, leave that go. But right after that, 60 days after that ended, mother died. 60 days after that, mother-in-law passed.
Yeah.
Going to take the summer off and just chill after 27 years, and some motherfucker stole my Ranger boat and trailer. That was
Yeah.
the worst thing to happen to me in 2019. They stole my boat and trailer. Right then I'm going to do Warren 2.0. COVID rolls in. Then we
Yeah.
go into lockdown. Girl I'm with 8 years, she decides to leave. So I had 18 months of getting beat up. Ex-wife, who, I hate the word ex because we're great together, more like brother sister, but she
That's
recommended an
weird.
amazing. Well, no, we're like, because we parent our kids,
Yeah.
we speak every day, and there's nothing else other
You're
than doing the
friends.
right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're like best friends. It's
Yeah.
actually great. And she recommended a life coach who, to this day, I'm still using. And I'll
Yeah.
just tell you, because you said the word belief, right? But the first
Yep.
thing that I learned was our thoughts become our beliefs become our habits,
Yeah.
and then our habits become our actions.
Yep.
So whenever you're starting off and there's something in your head, you just have to ask yourself, is that true?
Right.
If it's not true, move on to something else.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
wasn't easy, even though I just said it real quickly in a minute. Wasn't
Yeah.
easy, but once I got the hang of it, my stress level became 67% better
Yep.
because
That
I was moving
question,
on.
what do I know to be true, is life changing. Very life changing. Because you can have that conversation with yourself. We all know. We all know the truth. We just don't think about it naturally because we're human and trauma just kind of takes on a life of
Our
its own.
brain,
But,
right? We
you
learn our
know,
brain is there to cause us trauma.
that's right. That's right. So asking the question, what do I know to be true, is definitely like that hand that just pulls you out of the shit, so to speak. So I recommend it to anybody.
Absolutely. So you can call Jennifer for free advice. You can call me for paid advice. It'd be my pleasure to help you. And I go full 60 minutes, not 50 minutes like a therapist, because I'm not a trained therapist. And I want you to have your money's worth. Anyways, it's all good. It's all real. And all the kidding aside, I just have to say thank you to you, because everything you said was like, I felt from the heart, was true. And just you warned me and you made me smile, because it's just
Thanks,
real is
Warren.
real. You can't disguise real,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So
Thank you.
everyone who's listening, and I hope you got this far where you just heard me thank Jennifer for coming on. I'd like to know what you thought about the episode. And I always, again, appreciate you listening. If anybody knows anyone that wants to be on, if you want to be on, if you've got something great to talk about, if you don't want to be on, but you have a great topic, always reach out to me. I am always happy to talk to everybody. So I will sign off with Warren Werbit, printing's alive, and I love print. See you next time. Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you.